How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. As you know full well, I'm going to be showing off some more games today. Basically, I just wanted to show off a couple of games which use separate launchers in the title. So some EA Play games and some Ubisoft games. I've seen some people requesting Ubisoft games in the description, in the comment section. EA games work the same as that. So as you can see, I've got this fucking Origin shit loading up as well. And sadly has to do that every time we log into a game. This is Mirror's Edge Catalyst, I'm going to show first of all. But yeah, just know that you're going to have to... They're not technically classed as playable games because you've got to mess about with the launcher, log into a separate account. But you can do all that using the touchscreen, so it's not too much of an issue. But it's just not as seamless as a Steam game is when you just can go straight into the Steam game. So, a little bit annoying, but something you got to deal with. I mean... It doesn't take that long, as you can see. Literally just loads Origin up and then you're good to go. But I'm actually really surprised at how well Mirror's Edge Catalyst runs. A game I've never really played before. Heard mixed things on when it came out on Xbox One, didn't it? Like during the first couple of years of Xbox One's life cycle, and the performance was apparently abysmal. So it kind of got swept under the rug a little bit. So I mean, there's a pretty good time to come back and have a look at it again now, for sure. I've just read that as well. The fuck? I think I've got the TDP lock on or something, because this loading shouldn't take too long. Yeah, I do. Turn that off for now. I mean, the loading was obviously loading the game, because that was ridiculously fast loading times. What the hell? Right, so as you can see, solid 60. The only thing is, this game actually uses a lot of TDP. If you don't lock the TDP manually, it can reach highs of like 20... Okay, she didn't link onto the side of that. Yeah, it can reach pretty high up in the TDPs. I don't normally like having this on, because it kind of distracts from the gameplay, but... If you just have a look at the wattage there, it can pull like anything up to like 25 watts at times. So yeah, I'll just play for the time being with the little description thing up in the top right. But yeah, as you can see, really smooth gameplay. I mean, it's a pretty much locked 60, and the actual parkour aspect of this game feels so much smoother than the first one. I mean, I've had so many moments in the first game where she just hasn't registered that there's a wall to climb up or like there's a wall to grab, so she just like bounced off it and then plummeted to her death. But yeah, this one's a lot more fluid. I'm not sure why she didn't link up the side of that then. Okay, it's a lot more fluid. The game looks a lot nicer as well, so I'm not surprised it's using a lot more power. I will also try and mess about with some TDP settings and just really give you some idea of the freedom of stuff you can do on this. So if I limit this to what I'm watching the FPS as well, so if I limit it to like 8, we're getting like 57, 53 FPS, a little bit of stutters, not as smooth because it's not obviously got the freedom to work with as much TDP as it had before. But I mean, it's a playable smooth frame rate. It's obviously going to be dependent on... That was clean. It's obviously going to be dependent on your environment in the game. I mean, like, there's a lot of smoke going on in this section. Had quite a bit of rain physics and stuff. But, I mean, this is playable for me. It's very playable for me. So if this drops our battery life, if it ups our battery life, then I'm all for it. Not massively. I mean, you'll get about 2 hours and 20 minutes on a full charge, but... An hour and 12 minutes on 50% is not terrible. That's something you're going to be looking at with like the bigger, more demanding AAA titles for sure. But as you can see, I should have pressed the trigger there. The gameplay is extremely smooth in this. And I had a comment yesterday who was talking about how Mirror's Edge Catalyst is like an underrated game, and yeah, if it's an open world free-running game, that sounds insane. It's a shame it came out with such shit performance. But because EA plays on Steam, I'm able to just pick this up and give it a whirl. Definitely be something I'll be starting properly once I finish the first one. But yeah, a nice little run through of the level. So I'd probably play it locked at 8. If you go any higher, you're obviously going to get a really high, smooth 60, but for the sake of the battery life, I mean, if I took this TDP down, the battery life, not only would the fan start up like quite loud, the battery life would go down to about like 40 minutes, 35-40 minutes. I mean, I'll show you guys, I'll just prove it now. So this is an in-game cutscene, so it should give us a good idea. So 55 at the minute. It's going to just continually go down. I'll just let it continually go down. I can see that they've expanded on the combat of this one as well. Right, I'll check now. 48 minutes if you let it just go ham on the TDP, but if we lock it to 8, which I'm going to start doing a lot more in games now. I'm going to start locking the TDP because some games are used like more than they need to, so it's quite good just to tell them to just chill out a bit. But yeah, guys, Mirror's Edge Catalyst, and I will now show you a Ubisoft game. Right, so as you can see, we're loading up Far Cry 3. I'm just going to show you straight from clicking play to just show you what the Ubisoft launcher looks like and how it comes up, if you have to log in every time, if it's quite seamless. See, I haven't played Far Cry 3 on this device in like a few days, so I did log in initially. It might just start playing. I mean, that would be easy, right? But nah, we're obviously going to have to do this Ubisoft Connect. So yeah, basically making me log into my account for Ubisoft Connect. A bit of a pain in the ass. It's not too bad with the dual mouse trackpads, which is a really nice feature. But yeah, I'll be back once I log into my account. So we logged in. Sadly, you'll have to deal with that for every Ubisoft title, from like Assassin's Creed to Riders Republic. I don't even know if Riders Republic's on Steam, but if it was, then you'd have to do it for that. Yeah, pretty much just Assassin's Creed and Far Cry, I guess, if you'll be playing on the Steam Deck. So, other than that, you get into the main game. Everything loads pretty quickly. I'll just quickly show you my settings. I forgot to show you my settings for Mirror's Edge. My bad on that one. We were running it around medium to high settings, so pretty decent for like a harder to run title. As you can see, just some settings for Far Cry. As you can see, I've got it set on high. Like, this game's not mega, it's not massively old, but I mean, it's getting on by a few years now. As you can see from a lot of my videos, like, this Steam Deck is predominantly for me to play like games from 2011 to 2014. It's probably one of my favourite eras of gaming. So as you can see, we're running at 8, we're getting about 53. So if I boost that up to 9, and if I boost up to 10, it should give us a 60. So as you can see, the gameplay, very smooth. It isn't a locked 60. The FPS is hovering around 60, but yeah, it looks pretty locked. I'm just going to start a gunfight just to show you what it looks like when you're actually fighting people. Oh shit. I haven't played Far Cry in a while. I need to get used to the gunplay. Love the fact that you can just like bandage up like your arms and stuff. Where you going, bro? There we go. So if I did let this one go with unlimited TDP, it would use up a lot of battery life. If I let this go, then it shoots up. Uses like close to 20 watt of power. So it's always good to lock this one down, because although this feels extra smooth, you don't necessarily need it to use as much power as it does. I've also been told to turn off VSync in all games, because apparently this built-in software that Valve are using on the Steam Deck has an automatic VSync, and that kind of makes sense because it's limiting the frame rate here. So I guess, yeah, if you have VSync turned on in games, turn them off, because it'll automatically do it itself by the software. As you can hear, the fan is ramping up, and I'm getting 46 minutes. So yeah, if we limit this back down, so I'd definitely get in the habit of limiting your TDP in some of the harder to run titles. I'd say also in some of the easier to run titles too, because sometimes you can, like when I'm playing Peggle, I limit that to like 3 TDP, because I know for a fact Peggle is not going to use more than that. Whereas the Steam Deck, if I leave it just on automatic, it'll just jump around everywhere, and you're just trying to conserve as much battery life as you possibly can, really. So, like in driving, this hovers around 55 to 60, but as soon as you get out and continue playing the taking over like an enemy's area, or just like doing a story mission, it settles itself back down again. Was quite a good example with the exploding car and stuff for frame rate. But as you can see, if we now go back on here, it should serve an hour. Oh, just about an hour. So 57 minutes with what's going on right now. Where is he? Got you. Yeah, I haven't played any of the other Far Cry's, but I imagine they'll be a little bit more demanding than this one. This one's probably the easier one of the newer ones to run. Wonder if I can fast travel to like a town just to show what that's like. Let's go here. And I'll just walk around the town, show what that's like, and then we'll move on. So, yeah, to be expected, the lighting and stuff went down to around 58, 52, back up to 60. Manageable. And of course you can limit this to 30 and get even more battery life if you don't mind playing at 30 FPS. So as you can see, the battery life's jumping up there. I'll just give it a minute to get the estimate. Yeah, you're adding about another like 20 minutes of battery life, 30 minutes of battery life, so not too shabby. Alright, we'll move on to the next game. I haven't shown you Skyrim Special Edition yet, so why not show you that now? Here are my settings. Pretty decent settings for Skyrim, to be fair. We could drop these down to medium, but I managed to get it running pretty well at high settings. So, not too shabby. This is quite a demanding title as well, because it's the special edition version with the extra added features of whatever they've done with the like 20th installation of this game. So if I just continue, I'm pretty early on, so you get to see the starting area really. Of about 100 characters I've actually made for this game. I mean, it's just one of them things these days where you get the urge to play Skyrim, you play it for like 3 or 4 hours and then you just come off it, and then the next time you play it, you're like, oh, I need to start a new character. So you start a new character and then you do the same thing again. It's pretty much the Skyrim routine I've been getting into. But I definitely wouldn't mind playing this again, especially after getting in the rhythm of New Vegas and Fallout 3 as well. But as you can see, It's hitting 60. Doing better than my Ioneer did. I struggled to get this running on my Ioneer. Was hovering around 40 watt, and that was like at lower settings too, so definitely a massive improvement. Just show you what I've got it running at. So we're running at 10 TDP. Could probably limit that a little bit more, to be fair. Let's stick on 8 and see what happens. Still feels pretty smooth. It's not at a constant 60, but it definitely feels like it if you just keep watching the FPS counter there. Depending on what's going on in the scene, of course. If I just burn this innocent deer, I don't think I can reach it. Yeah, fair enough. Let's just remove that magic out of my hand, because that could be affecting anything. Maybe, maybe not. Yep, if you ever fancied playing Skyrim again, you won't have any issues playing it on the Steam Deck. It runs perfectly. So you're getting about an hour with 42%, which is pretty nice. Give you about an hour and 20. 2 hours 20, 2 hours 30 on full battery. People kept saying to me on that last video, I named it Classics, and they were like, wow, Classics, these games came out in the like 12 years ago. I'm like, well, Classics in the sense of the Xbox 360 era. I mean, obviously I'm not talking classics like Nintendo 64 stuff, because we all know they're going to be able to run on this, but classics in the sense of like they're legendary titles from the Xbox 360, PS3 time. Show you some loading times, to be fair. Pretty decent loading times, and I will just quickly, I think I'm just going to fast travel to like Bleak Falls Barrow or something. I'm pretty sure I've been there on this serve. Yeah, let's just quickly fast travel there, show you the loading times for that. Pretty damn rapid, to be fair. And as you can imagine, if I just go inside Bleak Falls Barrow, because it's an enclosed space, you should be getting like 60 FPS, no problem. I mean, we are hitting 60 now. But if I just go inside a cave system, you'll know that you won't have any issues running like 8 TDP inside a cave. Should give you like a lock 60. Yeah, that's great. So you'll have no issues running this at 8 TDP. I mean, let's be a bit cheeky and drop it to 6 or 7. So that's cool. So in Bleak Falls Barrow, maybe in other dungeons you could get away with running this at like, was that 5 TDP? I just dropped 6 TDP. Your battery life is already continuing to go up, so it's just a case of like, if you're willing, you can just quickly hop into this, drop it down. It only takes like a second, so it's worth doing for the extra battery life. But yeah, it looks Skyrim looks amazing on this. Very fun, and way better than the Switch version, and plus you can unlock achievements while you're playing too, so adds to the feeling of accomplishment a little bit more. So yeah, this is Skyrim Special Edition on the Steam Deck. And for the final game of today's video, we've got Spyro. Legendary title, a classic from the PS1 era. This game's great. I mean, like, Toys for Bob did such a good job on the remaster on this one. As you know, the settings have been laid over from the last game, so I doubt it's going to run at 6 watt, but we'll just keep it like that for now, and we'll see what happens. I'll just hop into the first game. I'm not sure if there's many differences between all three of them, but maybe like the first one might run a bit easier than the last two, but I'm not sure. I'll have to check that out later on, but currently running through the first game. Just to give you an idea of the loading times as well. Very decent. So on 6 watt TDP, we're getting about 35 frames a second. So if I just shoot you the settings I'm running at, we'll turn VSync off, like I mentioned earlier. It's a mixture of medium. It pretty much is just medium, and then you've got like a high TAA, but I found like TAA doesn't massively impact your FPS. It's nothing like MSAA, which would hugely impact your FPS. So for this game, you might as well lock it at 30 if you're playing at 6 watt. Just boost up the wattage here. That gave it a big spike. You might be looking at like 9 watt TDP. 9 watt TDP looks about right. That feels super smooth. These spiders are creepy as fuck. Yeah, let's get away from them. Sadly, this one doesn't support like the native resolution, so you've got slight black bars on the top and bottom, but yeah, it's not really a big deal at all. Yeah, these spiders are going to kill me. I need to remember how to sprint. There we go. As you can hear, the haptics are actually working for once. So I don't really hear the haptics that much. To be fair, they're not the best haptics in the world, but it's a trade-off I'm willing to make for the other features of this device. But yeah, I love Spyro. I mean, it's a shame we can't get Crash 4 on the Steam store. I mean, I'd definitely get that on the Steam store, but you've got to get it through the Blizzard. You've got to get it through the Battle.net launcher. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like, who uses that except for people who play Overwatch and WoW? And maybe COD now as well, I suppose. But yeah, it's just a little bit frustrating. It's locked away on that launcher. So I'm not sure if there's a way of getting it running on here. You might have to use like some kind of Linux installer. It's definitely a desktop mode job. But I'm pretty sure the original Crash trilogy is on here on Steam, so that would be a good one to run as well. For the nature of the game, running at 9 watt TDP is fine for me. You're looking at about 50 minutes of battery life and 38, so definitely going to be over 2 hours if you're near 100% battery. That haptic's slightly annoying me as well. I might have to turn that off in the settings for this one. So I wonder if you can like do like a big leap like that. Yeah, that was cool. Oh shit. Oh, and then you could hop up to that side. See, there's a lot of like secret areas in this game that you need to explore fully. Maybe try it one more time. Nailed it. And almost nailed it. Annoyingly keep hitting that side part. Let's try it one more time. See what I mean? It's like addicting. Like, I want to get into that area. Oh, we nailed it. We nailed it, guys. And we get all the goodies. Love to see it. So yeah, this game's very addicting for collecting all gems in one area. You've got to look in every little nook and cranny of every area. I'm just going to see if we can turn the haptics off, because it's got a really weird haptic control scheme. Yeah, we'll turn vibration off, that should do it. And it's not doing it anymore, so perfect. These guys look interesting, but we'll leave that for the rest of the video. But yeah, guys, Spyro works great, running at 9 watt TDP. Thanks for watching again. If you have any more recommendations, put them in the comments. I'm still making a mental note, so if your game hasn't been shown, I'll get to it eventually. I mean, I'm going to be posting videos for a long time, so if you want to stick up and stick around for that, then subscribe if you want. I much appreciate it. So I'll catch you guys in a bit.